Jaya Jaya Advaita.
There's a song.
Yes, in the song. Yes, it's in the song. Yes, it is. Jaya Jaya Advaita.
I don't know age here.
Read the code. Jaya 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 Advaita.
PT13.
That's it. Yeah. What?
PT13.
If anybody needs the code for that. Jaya Jaya.
No. I'm just doing it in.
Gaur Bhakta Prabhu Nityananda
The one you just posted?
No, we haven't done that one yet.
I just read that one this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do that. Jaya, Jaya, how does it
No,
start?
we just finished it.
Oh, okay, then what's next?
I wonder if if we could do that one, the one that I posted. It's, I mean, I could put it in the WhatsApp group, your WhatsApp group.
Will you send
Oh,
it?
nothing else. We'll just go out with the familiar songs. Did we sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jaya Karamani? Ah, very important. I gotta catch my breath. I don't have much. Oh, Govinda. We'll see.
Would you like to sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jaya Karamani?
But not mother. Mother could not come. Teaching.
Maharaj, I'd like to introduce, this is Sudevi Sundari, and we met her at Seven James yesterday. She's a yoga instructor who lived here in Mayapur for 2 years and traveled around the world, and she's heard from Padmanabha Maharaj.
And she what?
She's been all over the movement.
Tapasya Maharaj?
Yeah, she's heard from him in and so when she heard you were speaking, Tulsi was telling her, she was a guest of Tulsi's for lunch, and so she's coming for the first time to hear from you.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from India, Gujarat,
Gujarat.
but I was brought up in the UK,
Okay.
so yeah, and lived all over the world. Now I'm settled here.
Well, there's no need to go anywhere else.
No,
I know too. I've been all over. I ain't going nowhere. Good. Happy to meet you. All right. Who's going to sing it? Sadhguru Prabhu. Okay. Did you get that chart that I sent? Srila Gurudev's birth chart.
Oh, yes, with the English.
Yeah,
It has to be
I'll wait to get your feedback about that.
I had to find the date. I came up with the 12th of February, based on what he wrote.
the 12th of February at 9:27 a.m.
I also looked last night
You
at
saw that?
9:27 a.m.
Yeah. Because it's the only thing
You
that
mean by
fits.
calculating it?
It's the only thing that fits what you wrote.
Oh, okay. But I know that I heard that he was not releasing the actual dates during a certain time period when there were certain political controversies going on.
Oh, so he.
That's what I heard.
Targeted, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So, I
So,
mean, that was with the federal government, right? That was,
well, we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
I was just wanted to clarify, it wasn't some internal dispute.
Ah, okay. No, mostly political, not on that level, the other type.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kar More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaiveya Patita Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Suki Kripa Balokana Karo Ami Baraduki Daya Karo Sita Pati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bole Chaitanya Daya Karo Gadadhara Premera Shagara Veda Kripa Mage Eyada Moda Jaya Kara Guru Deva Atita Pavana Shri Charane Seva Mage Epatita Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Re Doma Vinate Daya Lo Jagata Samsare Hari Bol, Hari Nityananda Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Nityananda Bol. No volume. Gaur Nityananda Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Nityananda Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Volume. Gaur Nityananda Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Nityananda Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Bol Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Bol Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Bol Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Gaur Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Gaur Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Shri Advaita Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Gaur Gadadhar Bol, 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Gaur Srinivas Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Srinivas Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Srinivas Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Srinivas Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Bolo Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, Nitai, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, Nitai, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, Nitai, Nitai Gauranga. Oh, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, everyone sing loudly, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, loud, loud. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Oh, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Oh, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Oh, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Haribo, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Everyone raise your arms in the air and say very loudly, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki Jai, Mahavishnu Avatar Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Shri Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu ki Shri Srivas Thakur ki, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Pancha Tattva ki, Navadvip Dhama ki, Navadvip Dhama ki, Mayapur Dhama ki, Antadvip Mayapur Dhama ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki, Shri Chaitanya Charitamritam ki, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari 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 Bol. So, we're here in Navadvip Dham, where Advaita Acharya performed his miracle of bringing Mahaprabhu down to this planet. So today's celebration
is really celebrating also the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because without Advaitacharya, Mahaprabhu would not have appeared at this time. He would have appeared some other time. Gurudev is told like this. He can appear at any time in the Yuga. But Advaitacharya's calling, do you know what the word is? We all knew this word in the early 70s because we had a godbrother who was named that. Hunkar. Hunkar. That means loud calling. So Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu, he worshipped Sri Shalagram Shila. Why? Because Shalagram Shila is Krishna himself. And how did he worship Shalagram? Very specific. Huh? I can't hear. What way? How, with Tulsi, how, in what way? No, the Tulsis. There's a specific way that he made the Tulsis. 2 Tulsis and a manjari in between. Gurudev explained this. Yes. 2 Tulsis coming out from the stem, and coming out from the same stem, a manjari. And in this way, he used Ganga Jal and Tulsi to worship Krishna. And with great devotion, right on the banks of the Ganga here, where the Ganga used to flow, right in front there, where Sri Advaitacharya's house, his bhavan is there, at Srivasam, just there. And there the deity of Advaitacharya is, and he's worshipping the Shalagram. And then in front of him, a deity of Mahaprabhu standing. So, that calling of Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu is our greatest good fortune, and the good fortune of the whole universe. So to understand Mahaprabhu, it is also very essential to understand Mahaprabhu and his immediate expansions, his incarnations, his avatars. Like the first shloka of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know that first shloka of the Chaitanya Charitamrita? The invocation shloka is describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Don't read it, you're cheating. Bande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakam Tat Prakashamscha Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. So Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam means all of these 6 different manifestations, they are all together. They are Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what are those? Bande Gurun. First comes Guru, but not singular Guru, Gurun. Gurun means plural number gurus. Why? Because there are innumerable gurus, bona fide, exalted, transcendental, pure devotees who have descended even from the spiritual world to benedict all the souls. So Bande Gurun, then Isha Bhaktan. What is Isha Bhakta? That means the bhaktas of the Supreme Lord. So Guru, Vaishnavas, Isham, then comes the Supreme Lord himself, Isha. Then comes Isha Avatarakan, that means now the avatars coming from Isha. Then Tat Prakashamscha, now his manifestations, Prakashamscha. So Tat Shakti, and then his Shakti, his potency. Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. Sangyakam means all together. This is Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because he is the absolute truth. So therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling this fact very clearly in the first sloka. And then for the next shlokas, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is quoting various verses, various shlokas, some of them by who? Some of them by Rupa Goswami, some by Swarup Damodar Goswami, some of them written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself. But who are the personalities to understand before you begin to read the book? Now you have to understand the members of the Panchatattva. On this day, any of you can delight yourselves by going in front of our Gurudev's Samadhi from the ground level, and you just look up there. And on the first floor level are the incredibly beautiful Panchatattva, the members of the Panchatattva, with Mahaprabhu in the center. And then on his right side, or our left, Nityananda Prabhu, and then Sri Advaitacharya, so you can see Advaitacharya there. And then on the left of Mahaprabhu is Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas Thakur. So those first 14 shlokas of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I was very fortunate to be with Srila Prabhupada in 1975 at his Gaur Purnima festival, that he lectured every morning on those first 14 shlokas, and in the evening on Gita. But later on, years later, I studied that quite intently. And I began to feel myself to be very enriched, because after all, Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the Western countries where no one knew about Krishna at all, then Srila Prabhupada introduced the holy names of Krishna. But he didn't only introduce the Mahamantra. Which other essential mantra did he introduce to the whole world? Do you know? Yeah. The names of the 5 members of the Panchatattva. Who are they? Everyone all together? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivas. Then Adi Gaur Bhaktavrinda means all the other innumerable hundreds and thousands of other associates of Mahaprabhu. They all descended right here to assist Mahaprabhu in his mission. So, but prior to Mahaprabhu's appearance, then there were a small number of very great Vaishnavas, like Sri Advaitacharya was the leader of them. And that we'll discuss after we begin. But just the fact that Srila Prabhupada introduced this Panchatattva mantra, and then in, I think it was 1973, he ordered that one chapter from Chaitanya Charitamrita should be printed and distributed by the millions. And that's chapter 7. Because chapter 7 is about the complete members of the Panchatattva, and everything leading up to that are about Mahaprabhu. Chapters 2 through 4. 2, 3, 4. Then chapter 5 is Lord Nityananda. Chapter 6 is Advaitacharya. We'll read some of that today. And then chapter 7 is the Panchatattva. So, and also in that chapter is the description of Mahaprabhu converting the Mayavadi sannyasi. What's his name? Prakashananda Saraswati in Varanasi, along with hundreds and thousands of other sannyasis. Mahaprabhu converted them, gave them prema, and they danced ecstatically with him. So, we're going to discuss all these topics, hear from our Gurudev, hearing from Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, from Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and others. And we will observe this Advaita Saptami by trying to submit ourselves at the divine lotus feet of Sri Advaitacharya, who is actually present in everyone's heart, because who is Advaita Acharya actually? We'll hear about that. How amazing his tattva, Advaita tattva. Incredible. So I'm just first of all saying my pranams, my mangalacharan. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jataha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Satyade Satarane Namaraya Niti Namane Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Aldaurya Madhurya Gunaishtra Yuktam Param Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Krishna Padabja Dritaika Hridi Chaitanya Lilamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singha Rupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Name Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namane Namo Gaura Kishadaya Sakshat Vairagya Murtai Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Gauravir Bhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Shajana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namah Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalamashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Kanta Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Nusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satchavachai Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, who brought the names of the Panchatattva and the names of Sri Advaita Charya, the Maha Mantra, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everything necessary for the ultimate benefit of all the jivas. He brought this to the entire world. So we should pay our obeisances, otherwise without Srila Prabhupada we would never have heard of Advaita Charya Prabhu. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa, Ashtatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak, Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Lila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa, Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Both of these divine personalities expanded the ocean of the glories of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and his eternal associates. So our Dandavat Pranams to them. My Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga. And my Dandavat Pranams to all of the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavas' auspicious devotees, effulgent, bright devotees who have come here to Koladvip in Sridham Navadvip Dham to hear the glories of Sri Advaita Charya, and all those who are tuning in various locations on internet. My Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis. So there's a big menu today, which will not be possible to taste all of the nectar items that are here in terms of katha. But we are going to try. So first of all, Srila Gurudev has a very beautiful article, and it's given by him on the north shore of Hawaii on January 24th, 2007. And it's on the appearance day of Sri Advaita Charya Prabhu. So Gurudev is saying, today is the appearance day of Sri Advaita Acharya. He is Sadashiv. Did you know that also? Yeah, because you're disciples of Gurudev. But not so many people understand that so clearly. But we will read a little bit in an endnote. So he is Sadashiv, and he is non-different from Vishnu Tattva. And therefore his name is Advaita, which means what? What's the meaning of Advaita? Advaita. Huh?
Non-dual.
Non-dual. Because, can you explain the Sanskrit?
Dvaita means dual, and there's no duality in his existence.
Because the word Dvaita comes from what?
From the word true.
Dva. Dva. In Russian, it's exactly the same word. Dva means two. Adin means one. Govindam Adi Purusham. Adin, the number one in Russian. Okay? So, non-dual means there is nothing else in the supreme absolute truth except he himself. He is non-dual. That's why Advai Gyan Paratattva. He is the supreme tattva, supreme absolute truth, and he is Advai Gyan. Why Advai Gyan? Anyone? Advai Gyan Paratattva. Where's that mentioned? That he's Advaigyan Paratattva. Well, that's, yeah. Where? Yeah, that's a good one. There's a couple of important places where it's mentioned. Just like second shloka. Dharma projita koita votra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapat trayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavat Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. No, I'm mixing another verse. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parair Ishvaraha Sadyo Hridi Avarudyate Atra Kritibis Shushushubis Tatkshanat. So here in this verse, Dharma Projita Koitavo, all cheating Dharma. Because Koitava means cheating. And there's a lot of Dharma, cheating Dharma, given in the Vedas for those who cannot take the pure Dharma. So there has to be some variation of it, and that's called Koitava, cheating. Not the real thing. Nirmat Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastava Vastu Atra Shivadam. So Vedyam Vastava Vastu. What does Vastava Vastu mean? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that in Jaiva Dharma, in the very beginning. That everything that exists, it is called a Vastu. Each individual entity that exists, whether it's made of the 5 elements of material nature, whether it's a subtle element of material nature, whether it is a conscious entity, which means an eternal Jivatma, or expansion of the Supreme Lord, all are Vastus, because Vastu means an existing object. But there's Vastus. Vastava Vastu, and what's the other one? Avastava Vastu. Yes. What's the meaning? Can you say? Avastava and Vastava. Vastava means ever existing. Existence is Vastava means that the existence never for one single moment in all of eternity changes whatsoever. Ever existing Vastu, an ever existing Vastu. So are we in that category? We, all of us? Yes? Explain, Maharaj. How are we in that category? In one sentence, tell. Because why?
Because Krishna, he's Vasudha.
We're not talking about Krishna, we're talking about the Jiva. No, we're talking about the Jiva. I just talked about the Jiva. Us, Jivas. Are we Vastava Vastus? Are we ever existing entities? Yes, but we don't know this in the material world. The Jivas are in illusion. They have forgotten that they are Vastava Vastus, and they're thinking that they're Avastava Vastus, this temporary body. Very poor replacement, this material body, for an eternal spiritual spark of the absolute truth that never changes. So, Krishna is called Advaigyan Paratattva because of all Vastus, he's the supreme Vastu. And everything that exists emanates from him. Everything. There's not one atomic particle in all of the whole creation, in millions of universes, in the whole spiritual realm of Paravyom, spiritual Vaikuntha lokas, Krishna Loka, which is vastly bigger than any multiples of universes, the spiritual world. That all emanates from Krishna. How can we conceive of that? We can't. We can't. But that's not our objective. It's not our objective to try to conceive of how Krishna is the source of everything, because our mind cannot accommodate. But Mother Yashoda envisioned, did she not? When Krishna was a little boy. And Krishna was playing on the bank of the Yamuna. You can go to that place, Brahmanda Ghat. Why is it called Brahmanda Ghat? Because Brahmanda means universe. And there Mother Yashoda had darshan of the whole universe. Where? In his mouth. Because his friends were complaining, his cowherd friends, they were very small then. Oh Maya, oh Mother, Krishna's eating dirt. And then Mother Yashoda came there. Krishna, are you eating dirt? No. They're lying. They just want to get me in trouble. You sure you're not eating dirt? Come here, let me see. So then Krishna came. She put him on her lap, opened up his tiny little mouth, and began to look inside to see if there was any dirt. Mothers do that, right? Right? If your child was just eating dirt or playing with this or that, mothers, open your mouth, right? So Krishna, she opened his mouth. Krishna opened his mouth. She looked inside. What happened then? She began to see planets, oceans, mountains, all species of life, millions and millions of worlds. She saw inside of Krishna's mouth. And then she saw her own self looking inside Krishna's mouth. Inside of his mouth. She saw herself looking inside of his mouth.
And some dirt. She saw.
Well, she saw a lot of dirt. Yes, very huge amounts of dirt. So, anyway, what happened to Mother Yashoda at that time? What was her state of mind at that time? She became completely overwhelmed. What is this that I've seen? It's some kind of, there must be some kind of demon entities, some type of black arts. This influence is coming. So she didn't stop for a second to think, my God, maybe Krishna is God. No. She immediately called for the servants of the household to bring a black calf there. And with the urine of the black calf and the tail of the black calf, then she began to anoint Krishna's body like we do with tilak. Keshavaya Namah, Narayanaya Namah, Madhavaya, like this. Anoint his body. And all the Brahmins began to chant very many different mantras. Why? For the protection of Krishna. So that he will not be influenced by these evil spirits. So, the pure devotees, they have such depth of love for Krishna. Their praying is so unlimited. It's not possible to calculate. Their praying of the Vrijabasis, Krishna's eternal associates, Krishna's mother, father, his friends, all the cows. Even the cows are very dear to Krishna. They're his personal friends. Not like here. This is an animal. They don't look in that way. because they're eternal associates, those cows. Mhm. So anyway, so now Gurudev is telling us that Advaita means non-different. Advaita. Advaigyan Paratattva. Krishna is one supreme entity made of transcendental consciousness. Consciousness means gyan, knowledge, consciousness, awareness. So he is the supreme Advaigyan Paratattva. So Gurudev is explaining that his name Advaita is referring to the fact that he is non-different than Vishnu Tattva. So, and he is also a prominent Acharya. That's why he's called Advaita Acharya. He is a person who teaches. Acharya means a person who teaches by his own achar, his own behavior. In Vedic system, there is no such thing as a teacher who teaches one thing but then lives in a different way. That is impossible to find in Vedic culture. So in Vaishnava culture, which is the highest presentation of absolute knowledge, any personality who is a very great, renowned, realized personality in the line of the Vaishnava Acharyas, he is also called Acharya. And his life is a complete example. So Sri Advaita Acharya was living here in Navadvip Dham at that time, and everyone knew him as Advaita Acharya. And as Acharya, he was actually a teacher of the Vaishnava philosophy. And you know that if you read the Chaitanya Bhagavat, you'll see so much description there, vivid description of what was the condition in Navadvip Dham here 500 years ago at that time. So Navadvip Dham was the seat of learning practically in all of India. Scholars, pundits, they were here by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. And everyone that lived here was also in some way connected, with Vedic rites and rituals and so many different types of samskaras, Brahminical culture, and so forth. But there was one problem, which Sri Advaita Acharya and the other Vaishnavas like Srivas Thakur, Chandrasekhar Acharya, and others, they were living here in Navadvip, and they were gathering together and they were discussing Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing from Advaita Acharya. But they could see that the general population, they had no proper appreciation. In fact, they were very, very offensive. And they had very high levels of Vedic knowledge and Sanskrit learning and Shastra learning from different Vedic Shastras. But the one topmost important thing was practically missing. And what is that? Devotion, bhakti, which is the ultimate teaching of all the Vedas. It's the ultimate teaching. Even Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita mentions it again and again and again in every chapter. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Only through bhakti can I be understood in truth. So Advaita Acharya and the other Vaishnavas of that time, they were feeling some pain in their heart. And because they would also do kirtan, even before Mahaprabhu appeared. They would sing the holy names, they would sing kirtan. But the local people could not accept and appreciate and understand. So, Gurudev is saying that Advaita Acharya, he was a prominent Acharya of preaching the glories of the holy name and of giving prem bhakti along with that chanting. and therefore his name is Acharya. Now, Advaita Acharya's father's name is Kuver Pandit. So before Advaita Acharya's birth, Kuver Pandit performed austerities to please Lord Shiva, that is, to please Sadashiva. Then after a long time, Shiva became pleased with him, and he told him, "You may ask me for any boon." Then Kuver Pandit said, "I want a son like you. I want a son who is as qualified as you," said to Lord Shiva. Then Shiva replied, "This is impossible. This is not possible. So I will personally come as your son." So Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki jai. So thus Sadashiv appeared as his son. Now at the time of his birth, Advaita Acharya was given the name, you know his name, birth name? Kamalaksha. That means lotus-eyed, Kamala-aksha. One who has very beautiful lotus eyes. And he was very intelligent. And just in a few years, he completed his study of all the Vedic scriptures and also of all Sanskrit grammar. Now his father was a servant of the king, and one day when he was about 5 or 6 years old, his father took him to the royal palace, where there was a temple of the demigoddess Devi, namely Kali. So there, the king and his father offered their obeisances to Kali. But that boy, Kamalaksha, he did not do so. He did not bow down. He did not do so. And then seeing this, the king became angry. What? This boy is not bowing down? So, Kamalaksha's father, he understood, oh, the king is angry. I am his servant, so why are you not offering obeisances to Kali? The father asked to the boy. Why are you not offering obeisances to Kali? Kali is a very exalted demigoddess, and she can give any boon. Everyone respects her, so you should also respect her. And you should offer your obeisances. So then Kamalaksha replied, if I will do so, the boy replied, if I will do so, Kali will be destroyed. Then saying this, he offered his obeisances, and at once there was an explosion, and the deity of Kali broke into many pieces. All those who were present began saying, who is he? Why did this happen? The answer is that Advaita Acharya is Sadashiv. And in this world, Kali is Lord Shiva's wife. She is his Shakti, his power. She feels herself subordinate to her husband and cannot tolerate his bowing down to her. That is why her deity exploded. Now, after some time, Advaita Acharya went to Shantipur in West Bengal. How many of you have ever been to that town where Advaita Acharya lived? Shantipur. Raise your hands high if you've gone to Shantipur. Oh, yes. Today there's a small little group that went there. But I will definitely go there at some point, not quite sure exactly when, but I'm planning to go. Because last year, I also did a parikrama to Ambika Kalna, which is right across the Ganga from Shantipur. And that's the place of Gauridas Pandit, the place of the two deities, Gaur Nitai, who walked off the altar. So, and also the place of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda was married there, and his two wives, Janava and Vasudha, were the daughters of Suryadas Sarakela, the brother of Gauridas, the brother of Gauridas Pandit. And so there's the place where Nityananda Prabhu was married to them. You can see that place there in Ambika Kalna. And from there, then we went across. We had a vehicle, could go straight on the boat all the way across Ganga. Then we drove to Shantipur. Wonderful place to go. And our Srila Prabhupada, I want to tell this today because this is his appearance, Advaita Acharya's appearance day. And I told this story, maybe the other day I might have mentioned it briefly, but I told this story last year when we went there. I actually found a place online where it was beautifully narrated. So our beloved Srila Prabhupada, in his householder years, when he was living in Calcutta, he used to regularly come to Shantipur. Did you know that? Yeah, he used to regularly come there, and when he would come, he would sit in the far rear of that temple room there. They have like a kirtan mandap in front of the temple. And so he would sit in the rear of it's the same exact kirtan mandap that was there 100 years ago. So Srila Prabhupada, he would sit in the rear and he would pray and he would chant Harinam and he would become deeply absorbed. And there was one man who was from, the family of the Pandas who would take care of that place, who became very nicely acquainted with Prabhupada and they had friendly talks together. So he grew to have great affection for this devotee, Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu. So, anyway, it ended up that very same person, quite some years went by, and he didn't see him. But then again, he saw him one day. And where did he see him? He saw him, same place, sitting in the back of the temple room, but now he was dressed in sannyas vesh, saffron color. And he was weeping and crying and praying. And so eventually that man came up to him and, "Oh, Prabhu, I have not seen you for so long time." And then he explained to him, "Yes, tomorrow I am leaving on a ship because Calcutta is the port from where the Jaladuta left. And I'm going to America and I'm going there to preach the mission of Mahaprabhu. So I've come to beg for the mercy of Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, who is like the supreme master of the Sankirtan mission, And and then that man, he didn't see him again for quite a few years. But what did he see next? Over the next, dozen years or so, then that man eventually came into contact with the movement called ISKCON that was started by Srila Prabhupada. And he received a magazine, Back to Godhead magazine, and opening up the magazine, he saw the photo of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. And he became very excited. And he understood, oh, there are these people. And so he went to the ISKCON temple here in Mayapur, which was very, very tiny at that time. So he went there, and when he was asking to speak with any of the leading persons, because he wanted to tell them the story. And when he was introduced to one of them, I don't know who exactly he spoke it to, but then he began to explain, yes, for so many years. This householder used to come years and years, decades ago. He used to come and pray and weep in front of Advaita Acharya. And then I didn't see him for a long time, and then I saw him the very day before he said he was going to America. But now I've received this magazine, and I understand that his preaching mission became incredibly successful. Because he was reading the articles and seeing the photos and everything. And, that to him was such an amazing revelation, that same simple-hearted householder was the one who gave Krishna consciousness to the entire world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki jai. So, after some time, then Advaita Acharya, he went to Shantipur in West Bengal. And he also had a residence in Navadvip. Do we know where that is? Yes. Near Srivasangan. So he had two houses. One right near Srivasangan, very close to the Yogpit, and the other one was his main residence in Shantipur, that he was mostly living there. So he used to live in Shantipur, but from time to time he would come to Navadvip, where he would teach boys in a Sanskrit school. Now, Sri Vishwarup Prabhu, who was the elder brother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to study at that Sanskrit school. You know who Vishwarup is? Vishwarup is an incarnation of Balaram, Krishna's brother Balaram. Just like Lord Nityananda is an expansion of Balaram. So, before Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya appeared, his elder brother appeared, and his name was he was named Vishwarup. So this Vishwarup, the elder brother of Mahaprabhu, used to study at the Sanskrit school of Advaita Acharya, and he used to hear Advaita Acharya's transcendental preaching. So after some time, what happened to Vishwarup? What happened?
Walked away from home to sannyas.
He became renounced. By hearing from Advaita Acharya, he became renounced, and then he left his house and he became a sannyasi. And Mother Sachi, she became very upset. So by this, Mother Sachi, by seeing that had happened to her son, but that's a whole beautiful pastime in itself, about Vishwarup and how he became more and more detached, and then one day he just left home without giving any warning, anything. I think he was in his early teens at that time, quite young. And so Vishwarup, gradually he actually did take sannyas, and he was well known in South India. What was it called? Shankar Aranya was his sannyasi name. And when Mahaprabhu wanted to leave Puri to go to South India, but especially to meet Ramananda Roy along the way, what excuse did he give? I'm going to search for my brother who took sannyas. So actually Mahaprabhu never met him, but he received the news while he was in South India that Vishwarup Prabhu had left this world and gone to the spiritual world. So Mahaprabhu, although it was at the very middle of the Chaturmasya, it was on a full moon day, and that very full moon day on our Vaishnava calendar is called Vishwarup Mahotsav, because that's the day that Mahaprabhu shaved his head in honor of his elder brother. So, now, Mother Sachi, she was very, very devastated by her son leaving home. But, and also the father, Jagannath Mishra, he was so completely overwhelmed in sorrow and separation from his son, he actually left his body, he left this world. Jagannath Mishra. So now Mother Sachi had only who? She had only Nimai, her son. But one time, Mother Sachi, understanding that Vishwarup, by associating with Advaitacharya, had developed that tendency to leave home and to become a sannyasi and renounce. But when she saw that Advaitacharya was also closely associating with her Nimai, then she began to think inside of her heart. Her motherly affection began to overwhelm her. And she began to think that Advaitacharya, because of his close association, it influenced her other son to leave home and take up the renounced order. So what she did was, without any kind of malice, she criticized Advaitacharya by saying, his name is Advaita. Means what? Non-dual. Right? But he is not Advaita. He is Dvaita. Meaning he is dual, Dvaita, or duplicitous, because he taught my son, and then my son became renounced. So, the mood of her was that he divides people. Dvaita, not Advaita, not uniting. So after some time, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he visited the house of Srivas Thakur, there he manifested one lila. I'm just finishing that lila right now in my own reading of Chaitanya Bhagavat. What is it called? Sat Praharya Bhav. What does that mean? What is the bhav that he was experiencing for 22 hours, or is it 21? 21 hours. He sat on the altar in Srivasangam, the altar of Vishnu. He sat there for 21 hours, Mahaprabhu did. Because Mahaprabhu, as you know, when he started the Sankirtan movement, he did not like that anyone would ever refer to him as being the absolute Supreme Lord, Krishna. Although that's who he is. But he would never like to hear that, and he would block his ears if someone would say that. So, but this time, a very special pastime took place. For 21 hours, he visited the house of Srivas Thakur, and he manifested this mood that I am Vishnu. And he sat on the throne of Vishnu for 21 hours. So at that time, what was Mahaprabhu doing for 21 hours? He was giving boons, blessings to all the devotees present. He was saying to them, be blessed with praying. You should be blessed with praying. One by one, he was doing this. And then all at once, all the devotees began to dance and sing and weep. As soon as he gave them praying, they would dance and sing and weep and show all ecstatic symptoms. So now, the devotees requested him, please give this boon of praying to your mother, Sachi. The devotees are requesting Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu replied, something very shocking. What did he say? Mahaprabhu said, I cannot give praying to her. What? To Mother Sachi, who's the mother of the whole universe. And why? What was his reason? Why was Mahaprabhu not able to give her praying? What's the reason? Because she committed an offense at the lotus feet of Advaitacharya. So Mahaprabhu told this to the devotees. No, I cannot give praying to her. She has committed an offense at the lotus feet of Advaitacharya. She must go and apologize to him, and then I will give her a boon. So Mother Sachi, because Advaitacharya was not there, where in Sri Sangam, he was in Shantipur. So Mother Sachi at once went all the way to Shantipur and apologized to Advaita Charya, who immediately offered obeisances to her. And he placed his head on her lotus feet, and he said, "Oh, Mother, Mother, you made no offense. And if there was an offense, I excuse you." And then Mother Sachi returned to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who easily gave her prema. So this is not a small thing, this pastime. Giving directly prema. Do you know at the end of this pastime? There was one final individual who Mahaprabhu gave prema to at the end of this whole 21 hours. Who was that? Huh? No, that's in the middle of all this. At the very end of this long, it's like 3 chapters long.
It's the one, that devotee who gave the Loki.
No, that's Sridhar. He already said that. No. He did, but that's not the last one. No, he was way in the beginning. He gave him also, but not at the beginning. The last person in the assembly. Well, I'm just going to have to tell you all. There was a little girl, very little girl, who was named what? Narayani. Who was her mother? Huh? No. Malini's sister. She's the niece of Srivas Thakur and Srivas Thakur's wife, Malini Devi. Her sister is the one that is the mother of this young girl. And we will go there on our parikrama to the place where she was born. What's it called again? Huh? Mamagachi. And that's the birthplace of who? Yes, Vrindavan Das Thakur, who took birth as her baby son. And he's the author of the entire biography, Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yes. So, but what Mahaprabhu told to that little girl is, and he said this to the assembly, he said, "I will give prema to anyone who I desire to give prema to. Even this small little girl here, you see? Watch as I give her prema." And then he said her name, Narayani. Cry for Krishna with prema. And immediately the young girl became overwhelmed in ecstasy. And she began weeping and weeping, "Oh Krishna, crying and praying. And all the devotees were amazed. And there was huge kirtan took place. Now, also Advaita Charya, he was very worried. For some time, Advaita Charya was worried. He was thinking that although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord, he is the Lord, he is my Lord. He is always offering obeisances to me though. Advaita Charya, do you know what his age was at the time when Mahaprabhu was born? Huh? He was more than 50 years old at that time. And when Mahaprabhu was performing all these pastimes, Advaita Charya was about 60 years old, in his early 60s. And Advaita Charya is a very respectable acharya, respected by everyone. Topmost level Brahmana, Vaishnava, everything. So, but Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, he used to always offer obeisances to Advaita Charya, especially when he began to become bhavuk nimai, overwhelmed all the time with Krishna prem in those years following his receiving his initiation from Ishvara Puripad. So, Advaita Acharya was worried because he said, although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord, and he is my Lord, but he is always offering obeisances to me. And he could not tolerate this. So then one day he had an idea. He went to Shantipur, from Mayapur, he went all the way back to Shantipur. And what did he begin to teach in Shantipur? He began to explain the Bhagavad Gita according to what? Mayavad philosophy. Tattvam asi, aham brahmasmi. I am that impersonal God. Sarvam kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahma, that impersonal Brahma. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about this, he went to Shantipur, where he pulled Advaita Acharya by his beard, and he began to kick him. And he was on the ground. And then Sita Devi, the Advaita Acharya's wife, told Mahaprabhu, "Oh, do you want to kill this old man?" So then Advaita Acharya, what did he do? He began to dance in ecstasy. He says, "Oh, now I have received a boon. Mahaprabhu has beaten me. The master can beat the servant. The servant cannot beat the master. So now it is definite that he considers himself my master, and he can beat me and punish me as he likes." Gaur Premanandi. So Sri Advaita Acharya, he had that kind of a rasa with Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu was still always respectful to Advaita Acharya. But in this case, he fulfilled his heart's desire. Now Advaita Acharya had also a special relationship with another very exalted personality, and who is that? That's true, but this particular, Nityananda Prabhu, yes. Advaita Acharya and Nityananda. Now, who is Nityananda Prabhu? In his tattva, Nityananda tattva. We hear that from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that he is the first personal expansion of Krishna in the spiritual world. In fact, he is actually Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's first expansion, Baladev Prabhu, who also is Krishna's elder brother in the spiritual world, Baladev. And Baladev Prabhu is an amazing, amazing personality. And is Advaita Acharya an expansion also of Baladev? Advaita? Is he or isn't he? Advaita Acharya, an expansion of Balaram. Please explain. Give him the mic. I want you to explain the sequence, okay? The sequence. How Nityananda Prabhu, or not Nityananda, but Baladev, he's the first manifestation. Okay.
Okay, and then he expands as, so Baladev expands as Mool Sankarshan.
Mool, what does Mool mean?
Root. Origin.
Root Sankarshan. Where does he do that? Where does he expand? Where is he situated when he expands?
In Goloka.
Yes, he's situated.
Then he further manifests his second quadruple.
From who? From him?
Mool Sankarshan.
Yes. Not from Baladev. From Mool Sankarshan, then Mool Sankarshan
Mahasankarshan
expands as Mahasankarshan and is situated where?
in Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha. Explain Vaikuntha. Some persons are not as knowledgeable about some of these tattvas as for us. But Vaikuntha lokas, the whole spiritual world is made of these planets called Vaikuntha planets, or Vaikuntha lokas. But the topmost loka, or the topmost planet in the entire Vaikuntha region is what? Krishna's planet, because he's the origin. Goloka Vrindavan. And does Goloka Vrindavan have a size limitation? No. That's the difference between spiritual things and material things. Material objects are all limited in size, in space, even in time. But spiritual, transcendental objects and energy, they have no limitation. So, in Vaikuntha, there are many of these planets, and this expansion, Baladev, Mul Sankarshan, then Maha Sankarshan, and from him comes what?
Then comes Karnadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Kshiradaksha Vishnu.
Okay. No. That's way later. That's way later.
World,
What? No, we're talking about Maha Sankarshan, who comes from him in the spiritual world. Only he's there? No. The Chaturvyuha expansions come from him, and from them, what comes? The entire manifestation. Who are the Chaturvyuha? The four manifestations of Vishnu forms are called Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So from that Mahasankarshan comes those four expansions. They're situated in Vaikuntha. But also from Mul Sankarshan, those four expansions come, but where are they situated?
Also in Goloka. Like Mul Sankarshan.
Which part of Goloka? In Dwarka. Those Mul Sankarshan personalities, like even Balaram and Krishna, they're in that category because it's Vasudev Krishna and it's Devaki Nandan, Baladev, you know. So in this way, yeah.
Just one thing, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he wrote the Advaitashtakam, and in the last verse of Advaitashtakam, he says that his name is Advaita because he is non-different from Nityananda. Like he, you know, like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we usually hear that, you know, he's called Advaita because he's non-different. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya specifically mentions because he's non-different from Nityananda, he's called Advaita.
Okay. All right, now comes the big part. That's the biggest part, but now comes the subordinate big part. From that Mahasankarshan, what emanates from him? Who expands from him?
From Mahasankarshan?
Yes.
Then comes Karnadaksha Vishnu.
Karnadaksha Vishnu, who is where?
The Viraja River.
In the ocean.
Yes.
Because Karanadaka Shai means that he's lying on the causal ocean that is in the corner of the Vaikuntha regions. If you look at the picture that Prabhupada drew for his Bhagavatam covers, you can see that it's only like a corner of the spiritual world, but there he lies down in the causal ocean. That huge personality lies down in the causal ocean. Then what happens? What comes from him?
Well, and every time he exhales, then the unlimited Brahmandas come out of each one of the pores of his body.
Unlimited what?
Brahmandas.
What are Brahmandas?
Universes.
Universes are coming from his pores?
Yes.
Wow. I like you guys' philosophy. That's called God is great. So the universes are emanating from his pores, and when he breathes out, then what comes? Universes. How many universes come out?
Countless.
Countless universes come out with one exhalation. Now, do you know how long his one exhalation lasts in earthly time? Come on, scholarly devotees.
8 million foreign.
Oh, come on. Is one exhalation, because when he inhales all those universes, what do they do then? What happens to all those universes?
They expand.
They enter again back into him with his inhalation. And then when he exhales the next time, again they come out. Now my question is, how long are those universes existing before his next inhalation?
100 years of Brahma's life.
100 years of Brahma's life, which is what? How much?
Billions.
311 trillion.
Who said that?
Trillions.
Yes. Because we hear the word trillion all the time. Oh, the national debt is 30 trillion or something like this. But that number is so great, our mind can barely even comprehend it. In terms of time, Lord Brahma's life lasts 311 trillion years. Did you hear that? How many?
311.
How many?
311 trillion.
Okay, now you'll never forget for the rest of your life that Lord Brahma's life lasts for 311 trillion earthly years. And you know that that's only one exhalation of this Karanadakashaya Vishnu. That personality, Karanadakashaya Vishnu, is also known by the name Mahavishnu. And that Mahavishnu is the personality from whom all universes are created and maintained and then ultimately destroyed. So that Mahavishnu has descended in Gaur Leela to assist Krishna in his form of Lord Chaitanya. And he has come, and he has come as Advaita Acharya. So now, from that Karanadakshayi Vishnu, then there are two more expansions of Vishnu that come consecutively after. Who's the first one? What does he do? Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, the next expansion, what does Garbhodakshayi Vishnu do? He expands into each universe, an individual separate Garbhodakshayi Vishnu in each and every universe. He enters the universe. And then when he enters the universe, what does he do? Is there anything there in the universe? No, only darkness.
He lies down and he rests and has rest. What do you call it? All the perspiration.
Yes, from his body, water emanates, which fills up the bottom half of the universe. That's a lot of water. So that's called the Garbhodak ocean. And then Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, what does he do? He lies down on who? Ananta Sheshnag, who is also ultimately an expansion of Balaram. Yes. So Ananta Sheshnag, he becomes the bed. And now Garbhodakshayi Vishnu lies there. Yes. And he also has another name. His name is Padmanabha. Padmanabha means the lotus navel. Lotus navel. So from his navel, what comes?
Lotus flower.
Does the lotus flower just sit there on his navel? No, a stem that is very, very long and super strong. And we can't even imagine how big it is. And at the top of that stem is a lotus flower. And somebody appears on that lotus flower, right at the beginning of the manifestation of the universe. Who's that? Lord Brahma. So is Lord Brahma an expansion of Vishnu? No! He's a jiva. Occasionally, in some universe, there may not be. So sometimes Krishna comes, he expands. But Lord Brahma is a jiva who is very highly qualified from many, many, many lifetimes. And so now he takes the position of Brahma and he becomes the secondary creator within the universe. Do you know where the ingredients for him to create are? He doesn't create the ingredients. Where do those ingredients come from that he uses, that he takes, he extracts the ingredients, and then he utilizes those ingredients to create planets and everything on the planets, the bodies of the living entities, everything. Where does it come from? It comes from the stem of the lotus. Just imagine. Okay, now, human beings also take birth from a stem that is connected to what? Their navel. To their navel. And it's inside of the mother's womb. And through that umbilical cord, all the materials for the development of the body, they take place, and then the body gradually grows in the womb of the mother. So that is a reflection of the Absolute Truth, who shows that he can also become the father directly of the first created being, Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma's whole purpose is to create. That's his main purpose, is to create in the universe. And the universe will last only the duration of his life. When his life comes to 100 years of his time, then the universe is destroyed. So in every universe, there's a Garbhodakshai Vishnu, there's Lord Brahma comes. But we also know that in different universes, there's different sizes. How do we know that? What's the story? In Dwarka, Lord Brahma came one time to visit Krishna when he was a king in Dwarka. Yeah? What happened? Was he allowed to go into the palace? Four-headed Brahma came to Dwarka and the guards refused entry to him. And they asked him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Brahma." So then they sent a message to Krishna, who was in the assembly hall. And that assembly hall, by the way, it has a special mystic power that it can expand to accommodate any size and any number of people. So Krishna is sitting on his throne, because he's the king of Dwarka. And when the messenger came and said, "Brahma has come, and he wants to have darshan." So then Krishna told the messenger, "Ask him which Brahma." So then the messenger went back, and there Brahma was standing and waiting reverentially. And then the messenger said, Krishna has asked me to ask you that which Brahma are you? He says, I'm the four-headed Brahma. I'm the Brahma of this universe. There's no other, you know. And then he went back and told to Krishna, "Oh, the four-headed Brahma has come." So then Krishna said, "Okay, bring him in." And as Lord Brahma was being escorted into the assembly hall, what happened at that time? Krishna called for every single Brahma, millions of Brahmas from millions of universes, to immediately come to the assembly hall. Yeah? And so when all those Brahmas came, our Brahmaji, four-headed Brahma, he was watching and seeing this astonishing, that there's millions of Brahmas, and some of them, so he has only 4 heads, some of them have 100 heads, some 1,000 heads, some 10,000 heads. And he felt himself to be like a small little insect next to hundreds of elephants. So now when all these Brahmas came and arrived in front of Krishna with their helmets and their heads, they all made a crashing sound to touch their heads and helmets to the floor, to pay obeisances to Krishna. And then Krishna just addressed all of the Brahmas. He said, everything is okay in your universes. Everything is going on well. Very good. Now you may go. And they suddenly disappeared. But our four-headed Brahma learned a lesson from that. I ain't so big as I think I am. Okay, so...
you said that Krishna is the king of Dwarka, right?
Yeah.
No. He is the Ugrasena. He's the king.
Okay, yeah. But nevertheless, Krishna executes the duties of rulership in Dwarka, okay? And he has his palace, and he has 16,108 palaces. But technically, Ugrasena was given the rulership there. But Krishna is known by everyone as the king of Dwarka, okay? All right, now, why am I telling all this? Because this is told the meaning of kir or kshira. It means milk, especially cooked down milk. We call it kir. So, kiro dakashai means who is lying on an ocean of milk. So in our universe, that third expansion is actually the Paramatma, the super soul within everyone's heart, and is the manifestation of that one supreme absolute truth who becomes present in every molecule, every atomic particle of the whole universe. That Kiradakshai Vishnu. He lies in the upper part of the universe, and there's planet there, and there's a shore of an ocean. No, not. But Lord Brahma can go to the shore of the ocean, and then he can receive a transmission, like a mystic transmission, a message from him. And then he can communicate that to the demigods. So that Kiradakshai Vishnu is actually the Paramatma, who the Super Soul, who is also called Chaitya Guru. We have him in our heart. He's the one that's in our heart of every living entity, even the insects. And this is the reason why the very highly advanced, pure, realized transcendentalists, they have respect for every single living entity. Respect. They bow down. In fact, when they become very realized, they bow down even to the ant. Why? Because the Paramatma is there. The Super Soul is there. The Absolute Truth is there. And next to the Jivatma. Wherever Jiva is, Paramatma is also there. So, now these are all the expansions of Balaram. And we already pointed out where Advaita Acharya fits in. Now, we've already heard up till now that Advaita Acharya is both an incarnation of Sadashiv and also mixed with who? Mahavishnu. Yes. So, technically, he's an expansion of an expansion of an expansion like that of who? Of Lord Balaram. And when Balaram comes to this world to assist his brother Krishna in the Gaur Leela, then Baladev becomes Nityananda. So it's a very interesting Leela. It's very relishable and very tasteful to go deeply into the relationship that Advaita Acharya had with Lord Nityananda. And it's also very funny. There's so much hasya, so much comedy in their relationship, because it appears that Advaita Acharya he's like insulting or criticizing Lord Nityananda, calling him names, or Lord Nityananda is doing that in return, and like this. So Gurudev simply says, he says, Sri Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu, they often had some loving quarrels. What is a loving quarrel called? Because there's two different types of quarrels, a hating quarrel and a loving quarrel. So This type of quarrel that they had was called a prem kalaha. Kalaha means quarreling. Now once in Shantipur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya and all the Lord's devotees were taking prasadam together. Then Nityananda took some of his prasadam remnants and he threw them on Advaita Acharya's body. And Advaita Acharya said, "He is a mad avaduta." Now, what is the meaning of an avaduta? Avaduta means somebody that's far above the material level. They don't identify with anything on the material level at all. They can even appear to be like a mad person because they're in the transcendental realm. They don't identify with the ordinary things that the conditioned souls identify with. So Advaita Acharya said about Lord Nityananda, because Lord Nityananda had taken some prasadam and thrown it. I was reading this pastime from the book the other day in my room, and we were enjoying all of the different dialogues that took place. But this specifically took place after Mahaprabhu took sannyas. And Mahaprabhu, when he came, it's a long story, but when Mahaprabhu came to the house of Advaita Acharya, then Advaita Acharya wanted to be the first person to offer the new sannyasi his alms. Because in Vedic culture, to offer alms to a sannyasi or to invite them to take a meal and so forth like that is a very, very high manifestation of devotion and following of the principles of Vedic culture to give such respect. So Advaita Acharya, although he's known Nimai Pandit since he was a baby, but he knows who Mahaprabhu is, that he's actually Krishna. And now at the age of 24, he's suddenly taken sannyas. We read about that the other day, with Vishnu Priya Devi and so forth. So Advaita Acharya, he wanted to feed Mahaprabhu, and so he made a place in the area where he had his deity worship. And he and his wife, Sita Devi, they had cooked unlimited amounts of prasadam. You cannot even imagine all the different preparations. Hundreds of different varieties. Incredible. And huge pots, and smaller pots, and medium-sized pots. And there were hundreds and hundreds of pots shown in front of the altar and offered to Krishna. So when Mahaprabhu came there as a new sannyasi, Mahaprabhu saw all that, and he was very astonished. And Advaita Acharya also invited, please come and attend the Artik ceremony. Now we will have Artik for their lordships. And Mahaprabhu and the other devotees, they stood there and they watched the Artik, and also singing. And then after that, now Advaita Acharya wanted to offer the first meal to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who has now become Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's his sannyasi name. So then, Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, anyone who can offer such incredible, wonderful foodstuffs to Krishna is so fortunate. Oh, so wonderful that you've offered all this to Krishna. So now, we will sit down and we will take just a little rice and some mixed vegetable, that's all." So then, Advaita Acharya fixed a place for the two of them to sit together, side by side, the two lords. And already Nityananda Prabhu was complaining. He was saying, "What is this? This is such an insignificant amount. I have been fasting for 3 days on the way here from what's the name? Where he took sannyas. Huh? Where he took sannyas. Katva, yes, Katva. So they came by foot along the bank of the Ganga, which was actually the Yamuna also. And so then Advaita Acharya met them on one side, and because Mahaprabhu was he was just in internal consciousness. He was like completely absorbed in samadhi. and his moods of Vrindavan and going to Vrindavan. And Nityananda Prabhu was telling him, yes, we're going to Vrindavan. But then all of a sudden they saw Advaitacharya standing on the bank. And then Mahaprabhu said, Advaita, you are also here in Vrindavan? And then Advaita said, my Lord, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Now I want to bring you to my home. And he brought him into a boat and crossed across the Ganga and came to Shantipur, where everything had been prepared and waiting. And he gave new sannyas cloth and everything to Mahaprabhu. So anyway, now they're sitting down, and there's two places. And then on each of these two places, there's a gigantic banana leaf. Not a half of a banana leaf, a whole banana leaf, gigantic size, in front of each one of these places. So now Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are sitting there, and now they put a huge pile of very wonderful, top quality, aromatic, rice and dal and so many preparations. It's all described there in that chapter. It has like a few hundred preparations, at least minimum a few hundred. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he just gives up. He says, there's no way that I can explain all the preparations that were made. So now Mahaprabhu again repeated what he said before. He says, just bring me some small amount of rice and some mixed vegetable, lafra bhyanjan they call it. Just some boiled mixed vegetable. And so, but Advaita didn't listen to that at all. And he started surrounding the plate with so many cups of both Nityananda and him. But Nityananda was thinking, what? I've been fasting for 3 days and I was hoping to break my fast today, but all of this will not even be a tiny morsel for me. So, but later he said that, he repeated it again. But he was even saying it before they even started serving. So now they began to serve the prasadam. And Mahaprabhu began to complain. He said, I told you I only want small amount like this. And then Advaitacharya said, my dear Lord, please give up your false attempt to hide yourself. I know that in Jagannath Puri you are eating huge amounts, hundreds and hundreds of pots full of wonderful foodstuffs that have been cooked for you in Jagannath Puri, and you are doing it 52 times a day. Why? Because you are actually Jagannath, Krishna himself. So now anyway, somehow or other Mahaprabhu was defeated. And he agreed. And then they began to start taking prasadam. They began to start consuming this wonderful, wonderful prasadam. And it went on and on. And whenever Mahaprabhu's big, huge bowl of vegetables or whatever came only halfway down, immediately he'd fill it up to the top again. And it just kept on and on and on. And both of these lords were eating enormous, enormous amounts of prasadam. Anyway, eventually it came to where Advaitacharya told, so, yes, my lord, now to be okay, we can complete the meal, and you can wash your hands, and I have a place where I want to lay you down and give you a place to rest after the meal. So when they were still sitting there, and Advaitacharya was saying like this, Nanda said, what? This is all? This is all the prasadam? And Advaitacharya, he said, my lord, please be satisfied. But then, what happened, like it is telling here, that he began to have this prankalaha, this quarrel, this loving quarrel with Lord Nityananda. And then he began to say things about Lord Nityananda. Look at this Avadut. Now, avadut from our Vaishnava vocabulary means somebody who's extremely exalted, way beyond any material calculation. Just a transcendentally situated, realized personality. But avadut can also refer to a person who's quite mad, you see. And then Advaitacharya would say, he is a mad avaduta, just see him. He has no etiquette, none at all. And because why? Because Nityananda had become upset. Then he took some of the rice that was left on the plate and he threw it at Advaitacharya. And when the rice touched the body of Advaitacharya, it stuck to his clothing. And what did Advaitacharya do? He raised his hands in the air and he began ecstatically dancing. But still, this quarrel kept going on between Nityananda and Advaita. And Advaita, because he was coming from the Brahminical, very high Brahminical caste, and in Bengal, especially at that time, there was so much that went along with that status in society, you know. But Advaitacharya would often say, who is this avadut? No one even knows what caste he's even from. And I'm sitting and I'm going to eat my meal in the same vicinity with him. What will happen to us if we eat his remnants? What will become of us? And here he's saying that this mad avaduta, just see, he has thrown this rice. He has no etiquette, nothing at all. So he has made everything impure. But in actuality, whenever he would say anything, then Nityananda would counter. And Nityananda said, oh, he thinks himself a Vaishnava, but he has no knowledge of Vaishnava principles. He says this about Advaitacharya, because Advaitacharya was saying that now everything has become impure. And he says, and Nityananda said, I have thrown Mahaprasadam. Mahaprasadam never becomes impure, even if it is touched by the mouth of a dog. Still, he speaks like this. So he is an offender of Mahaprasadam. So like that. In this way, they both used to engage in loving and joking quarrels.
One thing, you know, there's a very nice song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Ekadina Shanti Pure Advaite Radhare Dui Prabhu Koshana Bhukti.
Are you going to sing the whole song right now? I don't think we have time for that, Maharaj. Anyway, he's telling that the song written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not the same one. It's he wrote 2 or 3 different songs telling about Mahaprabhu's Prasadam pastime. But the one that we know, Sharira Vijajal, Chatandriya Taikal. But then after that, then in Gaudiya Mat they sing Ek Din Shantipure, one day in Shantipur. And in that song, it's describing this pastime in Shantipur. How he put the 2 lords and fed them and all of that. Now Gurudev is saying here that once during the time of the Rath Yatra festival in Jagannath Puri, after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees had completed their cleaning of the Gundicha temple, then what did they do? They sported. All the hundreds of devotees went and they sported in the waters of the Indradumna Sarovara lake. And they were all splashing the water on each other. So this is very nicely described, that pastime. And Nityananda Prabhu and Advaitacharya began to throw water on each other. And Nityananda Prabhu defeated Advaitacharya. And he later began to rebuke Nityananda Prabhu, calling him bad names. So in this way, they used to engage in love-filled mock quarrels. So in this way, Gurudev has ended this short talk that he gave on Advaitacharya Prabhu's appearance day. And we've already pretty much reached the time limit. There's so much more to say. If we take a vote and you want to hear more, that's possible, but I know that some have to go. They have families and children And guess what else? Everyone's hungry. And Gurudev, he would often say that if someone becomes hungry, then they can become angry. So we're going to complete our glorification today, but I'm going to continue on my own later in the evening to read some more nectar. Anyone is invited to come. But just to complete our katha, so Sri Advaita Charya Prabhu, like I said in the very beginning, he is the personality that called Mahaprabhu to come here to this world. But do you know that he's also the personality that, just like when you do archan, deity worship of the deity, there's, in the very beginning of the archan, there's a system for calling the deity. Those of you who've ever done deity worship, you know, there's mantras and so forth to call the deity to come and come into the bathing container, and so that deity can be bathed like that. So, yes, so Advaita Charya, I forgot what I was going to say. Huh? Yes, and he also, when you're doing the deity worship and then you end the deity worship, then at that time, there's also mantras for requesting the deity to return to their place on the altar. Yes. So Mahaprabhu was called by Advaita Charya. Krishna was called by him to descend. But after all of these years, 48 years to be exact, Mahaprabhu, for 24 years, he was in household life, and he's expanded the Harinam Sankirtan movement far and wide in Navadvip Dham, everywhere. This whole Navadvip Dham was filled with kirtan, so many sweet pastimes. And then at the age of 24, then Mahaprabhu renounced this world and he went to Jagannath Puri because his mother requested him to be not so far away so that she could get regular news from him. And then Mahaprabhu went traveling in South India for approximately 6 years off and on, not just South India, but also went up to Vrindavan and Bengal and returned to Puri. But for the final 18 years of Mahaprabhu's manifest presence, in Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu was going continuously into deeper and deeper ecstatic states. And it's recorded there for the whole world to know this for all time in the future, that Mahaprabhu's transcendental ecstasies were so extreme that his body would be pulled apart at the joints, and his arms and legs would become elongated, and even his head and arms would go into his body sometimes. All of these extreme ecstatic manifestations of ecstasy have never been seen before, but Mahaprabhu showed them. And why? Because whose ecstasy is he tasting? Shrimati Radhika's ecstasy, her prem, her Unnata Ujjvala prem. So Mahaprabhu had performed all of these amazing pastimes throughout this 48-year period. And then one day a poem arrived from Advaita Charya. And that poem was basically saying in a very simple way that chawal means rice, that now there is no need anymore for rice in the marketplace. No need. And all the vendors in the market who are selling rice, they have all closed their doors. So no one could understand the cryptic message that Advaita Charya was putting into that very short 4 lines poem. But Swarup Damodar Goswami could understand. So what was the message? That the rice was speaking of Krishna Prem. And now the Krishna Prem has been profusely distributed everywhere to everyone. And now there is no longer any need for what? For this distribution process, and therefore Advaita Charya, who had called the deity to this world, worshipped him, now he's telling, now you may return and complete your pastimes. So soon after that, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his disappearance pastime, which was viewed in 3 different locations simultaneously. One place in the Jagannath temple. Some persons were there and they actually witnessed that Mahaprabhu entered into Jagannath deity. Some persons also witnessed that Mahaprabhu entered into the ocean in front of Puri and was never seen. But the final one is the deity of Krishna in Jagannath Puri, whose name is Tota Gopinath. Rishabdev loves that deity, always says his name. So Tota Gopinath was the deity worshipped in Puri and given to Gadadhar Pandit by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And that deity is there. You can go to Puri and worship and sit and chant in front of that deity. So beautiful. Eventually that deity sat down. At first he was not sitting, he was standing. But then after some time, then he sat down, and he's the deity sitting in a lotus position. Yes? And that deity has Lalita and also Shrimati Radhika on both 2 sides of that deity. So that's a very, very powerful darshan. And you must go someday to Jagannath Puri to have that darshan. And also in Jagannath Puri, you can have the darshan of the very room where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived there for 24 years. It's called Gambhira, where all of his ecstasies took place. And of course, Jagannath Temple, those who do not have Indian bodies cannot go in yet. We will see when that changes. But nevertheless, Jagannath comes out to see all of us. So one day in everyone's life, everyone must go and attend the Jagannath Rath Yatra. That is necessary. One day in everyone's life, you have to go there. How many have been to the Jagannath Rath Yatra? Good number. Okay. So in this way, Advaita Acharya's glories are unlimited. But really, to relish and taste this, you're all going to have to read all the narrations that are there, so beautifully presented in Chaitanya Bhagavat and in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Especially, so many wonderful manifestations of pastimes between Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya. So by reading that, we become so enriched, and our relationship becomes very well established with Mahaprabhu. That's why Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said you should read Chaitanya Bhagavat 3 times to develop your relationship with Mahaprabhu. And then after that, read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Gaur Premanandi, Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai, Mahavishnu Avatar Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai, Sada Shiv Incarnation Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Advaita Saptami Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Do a special Maha Mantra, not the one you usually do. Because when I catch them off guard, there's always a certain melody that comes.
I just do Gaur Arti melody. Like, that's the
Okay. Whatever melodies you choose, you're the king of melodies.
Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Jaya Sachinanda Gora Hari Sachinanda Jaya Gora Hari Jaya Sachinanda Gora Hari Sachinanda Jaya Gora Hari Jaya Advaita Acharya Jaya Advaita Acharya 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 Gora Advaita Jaya Gora Advaita Gora Advaita Jaya Gora Advaita Gora Advaita Jaya Gora Advaita Gora Advaita Jaya Gora Hari Bol 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 Hari Sai Bol Hari 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 Bol Sai Bol Hari Bol Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Rupa Anugaurya Guru Varga Ki Jai Sapa Shachi Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Jai Shri Mahavishnu Avatar Shri Advaita Chandra Ki Jai Jai Shri Advaita Saptami Titi Ki Jai Jai Shri Kuber Pandit Nabha Devi Ki Jai Jai Shri Sita Thakurani Shri Devi Ki Jai Jai Shri Achyutananda Ki Jai Shri Navagram Ki Jai Shri Shri Shantipur Dham ki
Jai.
jai, Shri Advaita Bhavan ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava
Achyutananda,
ki jai,
you said?
Shri Achyutananda, I can't remember, Achyutananda ki
The son
jai,
of-
Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti
Jai.
Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai,
Jai.
Swagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Vrinda
ki
ki
jai,
jai.
Shinitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Mahaprasadam ki Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradederi Sajavachai Namo Namah Vansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhuvev Ram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
From all sides.